Hello Cardfighters, welcome back to Vanguard Central Academy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the week 2 for the Luard Shadow Paladin trial deck. And I wanted to try something a little bit different, so we're actually recording the whole thing after I played this week rather than the deck before and the results afterwards. So we'll just go through the deck and then talk about the rounds a little bit. The extra like $10-ish that we added was really useful in helping up the deck's consistency. So just going through, since we were able to up the deck's early game consistency, we dropped down to 6 grade 3s. Still running the 2 Valdemar and the 4 Luard. Obviously we want to get on Luard, but Valdemar is a pretty good rear guard. If that ability comes up, he can make some 21 columns pretty nicely, which was relevant sometimes. But just having 6 grade 3s, it worked out well. I usually had the grade 3 when I needed to stride with it for the first stride, and then most of my deck is there's a lot more shield in the deck now, so that proved useful later. And then we'll go into grade 1s. Same things we saw before. 4 perfect guards, 4 knees, 3 claw through, and then what we did is we took out Killer Mew and one of the claw throughs, and we added in a bunch of new cards. Most of the grade 3s went back into the grade 1s just to up ritual consistency and things like that. So the 4 claw through. So we had 1 sword breaker, so that was about $4 on TCG Player right now. So about $4 for the sword breaker. That's just obviously really powerful. You can recycle it with Luard's effect, call it out every single turn, just make really good use of that soul and get all the advantage out of it. I think I would suggest running 2 in like a fully completed build, just so that you have the option to get like a double sword breaker on the first stride, just in case you're really behind, you just want to like catch up really quickly. But the 1 has been really good, obviously upping the efficiency and power of the deck a lot. So great for 1 sword breaker. Abyssal Owl seems to be around $2 on TCG Player now, so we added one of that. It helps grab Luard sometimes. I don't think that ever happens to me, but you can grab Luard, that helps, and the unflipping definitely helps, keeps us going. One of the issues I had the previous week was that I just didn't unflip that much, and so I couldn't keep the advantage going. I couldn't keep up in the long game. But Abyssal Owl helping to unflip really let me go a bit longer than I normally would without it. And then the last one, so it's about around $6 now. And then we had some commons. We had 8K vanillas from some other trial deck, or actually it looks like it's a booster set 8K. But the reason for the 8Ks was I thought the +3 from claw through can make the 8K 11K, so like it makes some little nice numbers. And then if you do the same but have the 10K vanilla in front of it, make that vanilla lane, you hit a 21. So I just put the 8Ks in for mostly the number reason, but they can be, I guess, useful early game for defense, things like that. But it was mostly a number game with the 8Ks, and they may or may come out depending on the future of the deck. I'm still debating a week 3. I think I probably will, which will make more sense when I get to the tournament results. But that's really for the grade 1s. Grade 2s, I went with a special interceptor. Get that plus 10k shield is really good. If you need to use it multiple times, you could just recycle it, and claw throughs can help fix the power on him. You have 8k vanillas now, so it's really not that big of a deal. You could make a nice 16 pretty easily, call it out from deck. That like tutoring is really nice. So I just thought 1, maybe be useful, maybe it wouldn't. It turned out to be alright. The only times I managed to get it were against retire deck, so they just kind of like booped it before I could even intercept with it. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, so just the 1 there. And the mains, they're pretty cheap. I think they're around 25 cents on TCG Player. But this was the extra consistency that let us drop to 6 grade 3s rather than having a full 8. It's an early game skill, lets you discard 1, draw 2, so you could discard a grade 1, help fuel ritual. So if you're going first, that can really help you hit that ritual count and get the free first stride, or just dig for an extra grade 3 to help you stride. So it was a really useful card early game. You could sacrifice it to Carnivore late if they don't, attack into it or you don't intercept with it. So it's just been really good. I probably wouldn't run more than 2, just because it's a 3K. You really don't want to ride it. But the main at 2 has been really strong, and I'm probably going to keep it that way. So we went up to 4 Debihira, playing with it a little bit. I really like the ability to filter through my hand, make my early game that much more consistent, along with the mains. You really be able to filter early, build up the drop zone for a first ride ritual really fast, and really dig for the grade 3 Luard. With the main and Debihira, you can actually discard if you have only Valdemars, just so that you could try to G-assist into Luard. So that's really it. It's just focus on the early game consistency, drawing a good hand, getting your grade 3 Luard, and setting up ritual quickly so that you can power out the later parts of the game. And then the 10k vanilla just was amazing. Again, prevents the opponent from rushing you super hard. Can make numbers now with the 8Ks and claw through combo. So it's just been really good. Definitely keeping the 10k in there. Possibly going up more. You could add more of these and use Night Sky Eagles to make some really nice 11k columns. I don't know, or 21k columns. So that's an option. That's a way to go with the deck. I don't know if we'll do that in here. But that was basically it. That's the whole main deck. Really, those grade 3s just turn into grade 1s and just try to make the deck a bit more consistent. For strides, same 4 carnivores. Picked up 1 distress and 2 blizzas, but these are just placeholders, the blizzas. They're not because they're blizzas. They just, sometimes I found myself running out of strides, so I wanted to make sure that I had more strides to use if I ran out of carnivores. So they could be dark distress, they could be anything. You're probably not going to use the effect. You just want to be able to stride sometimes. And then of course the Agleam and Scryu that we're classically doing for the evolutions. So yeah, that's pretty much for the deck. We just added the three strides. They could be anything. Dark Distress is probably the cheapest at like $1. The 2 Nemains, 3 8Ks, 1 Abyssal Owl, 1 Swordbreaker. Oops, almost forgot about the trigger. So the starter, we stuck with Root. I thought about switching to the new Revenger starter that builds Soul. But just having the ability to be a 5k booster is always relevant. And the ability to kind of put itself into the Soul when you retire it and make some power columns, I think is really good. And I just didn't really like how the Revenger starter is a -1. You put it in the Soul and then you don't get anything out of it. So I really didn't like that. Yeah, it was mainly because I didn't want the -1, even though it does help the early game consistency. I thought just having a 5k booster would be better for early game consistency than getting Scry and then draw 1, discard and draw effect. And then for the triggers, we had 4 crits. We upgraded, we got 4 more crits, so we're playing an 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal build. Just to streamline the game. The stands were kind of wonky, they didn't work out super well, and they just mess up the attack patterns more often than not. So that is basically it. All we really added were the crit triggers, 1 Swordbreaker, 1 Abyssal Owl, 3 8k vanillas, 2 Nemains, and 3 strides, which could really be anything. Probably the cheapest one is the Dark Dragon, Distress Dragon, but Blizz's, I didn't have all 3 Dark Distress Dragons, so that's probably what I would use if I was, really true to the budget, but these really could be anything. I never intended to use their effects, just as a placeholder stride, basically. So that's basically it. If you want a short rundown of the cost, if they're all distresses, it's probably 3, maybe these are a total of $1, so $4-ish, $6 with the Abyssal, $10 with Swordbreaker, and then however much the triggers are. If your friends have extra trial decks laying around, they probably have tons of extra triggers, probably at most $1 for the triggers, so maybe $11, a bit more than $10, which is what I try to stick to, but close is pretty good. So we'll just talk about the tournament really quick. It was terrible. I was super salty and mad. So we played So round 1 we played against an Eradicator deck. It went pretty well. Game 1 we got the win. Game 2 we had the G assist, and then things kind of snowballed out of our control. Game 3 we were G assisted, but we went first, so we were able to set up Ritual before the first stride with Luard's skill. So we got the free strides. We were able to stay in the game, and then I overcommitted because the deck, it was a Eradicator deck, so they can pop all your units and gain a ton of crits. So I forgot to take that into account. I had a field of 4 units. He said, blah! And he got 5 crits on his Vanguard, swung in, drove check a crit as well. And I got 1 heal, but I didn't get the 2 heals I needed to live, even though I was only at 1 damage. He just straight up killed me from there because I overcommitted to the board. So that was pretty unfortunate. That was pretty unfortunate. So, yeah. But we just did it twice, which was really frustrating. So then round 2 we played against Darker Vigors. We played against an Amon build. The best way for me to play against that was just kind of try to out-advantage him, keep guard, and guard a little bit early, keep guard for the later strides. So we really abuse, where is he, the Swordbreaker, just drawing cards, filtering cards, getting the PGs, just in case he went for an Amon Legion play, but also perfect guarding his other stuff. And pretty much every time we used Luard's skill, we sent back more PGs, just to make sure we always had a PG, and we could kind of use the PG to guard early Vanguard attacks, so we could take one if we needed, and then always have the grade 0s in hand for when the opponent wanted to do a Gilderai. So that strategy worked out perfectly. We were able to block the Gilderai at no pass both times he used it, and have the perfect guards for other times, and ended up decking him out both games. So I was really happy how the deck worked with that game, or that round. Round 3 we played against Grand Blue. He knew what I was doing, so he knows that I don't have Diablos. Normally I can get away with people fearing that I have Diablos, but he knew that I didn't have Diablos, so he played really aggressively, didn't worry about having to keep units on the field, as well as able to play really, really strong against me. Just not having Diablos was really... Him knowing that I didn't have Diablos was really what hurt me in that matchup. So I kind of got rolled game 1, and game 2 we G-assisted again, and got wrecked. So, round 3 we play against Equal Force, so 10k vanilla. Obviously, I was like, okay, I'm going to get 10k vanillas. It's going to really help me out in the defense for this matchup. He's not going to be able to poke with my rear guards as much. Game 1, we just got rolled over by his Tetric Boil restands, early game aggression, things like that. We couldn't keep up, even though we tried to Carnivore, retire his hand, keep things going, but he was able to pressure us too hard. We couldn't keep up. And then game 2, we G-assisted again and missed a grade 0. We have 16 grade 1s in the deck. We missed G-assist at grade 0 to get a grade 1. That was pretty upsetting. And then we missed again next turn, so that didn't help. And we lost that one. So we lost a lot to G-assist this tournament, which is part of the big reason why I wanted to do another one. I felt the deck was working very well. It was really strong. The games I won the previous week was mostly because the opponent drew a bad hand, or they didn't get really good. They drew a bad hand. They didn't get what they wanted, or they just weren't playing the most optimal they could be playing. So I got a lot of wins just by outplaying people and just them not having a bad hand. Well, I wouldn't really say outplaying, but just them making not the best decisions. But this week, the wins that I got, they felt a lot more solid. I was able to take out some pretty strong decks, or at least pressure them really hard, even with just what I had. And I think just G-assist kind of screwed me over a lot. So that's what I wanted to do week 3. I'll add 10-ish more dollars again, play it again, That one might be in a while because there's like a non-tournament event happening this weekend. So that one probably be in like 2-ish weeks. So be patient for that one, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we won't get G-assisted again. G-assist crapped on again. But yeah, I mean the deck is so fun. I really, really like this deck. It's just unfortunate we had the G-assist so many times, and it really makes me frustrated how expensive the deck is. So I probably will never complete it in like a super complete fashion. It's probably just going to be sitting there and be like, oh man, the deck was so fun to play. I probably won't ever complete it or anything like that. But if you were wondering what a complete version of the deck looks like before I go, on my adventures for week 3, you can head over to the main channel, Vanguard Central. There will be a Luard deck going up very soon. Completed Luard deck, so you can check that out for a good idea of what a completed deck would look like. I'm probably just going to update the main deck a little bit more, probably have a bit more Distressed Dragons, things like that. But I will see you next time on the next week for the Trial Deck Evolution for Luard. I hope you guys like this video. I want to shout out to all the patrons on Patreon. If you want to be like them, click that little P on the end slate. Make sure you're subscribed for more content like this. Obviously, we got the week 3 coming up eventually, ruling questions, product reviews, things like that. And yeah, keep on learning, keep on having fun. I'll see you in another video.